Hey, hi everybody, and welcome to another video. So this video is going to be about my Harley Davidson. This is an XG750A street rod, and the video is going to be about some of the minor modifications that I did on the bike. Just to have some convenience, as I ride. So the bike, when I purchased this bike at the dealership, it already came, with the Benson Hines, which is, really cool. So I didn't have to be worried about adding that. Now, I don't know if they put the K&N, filter. Maybe they did, because normally when somebody modified the exhaust, they modify the intake as well. So I have to check that out, later on. Now, some of the mods that I did was for me to feel more comfortable with the bike, because I'm not a young guy. I'm in my mid-50s right now. And, I like the look of the bike. And that's why I bought it instead of buying, another Sportster just like everybody else, or maybe like a bigger bike from Harley. So I put this gel pad over here, and it really helps. When I first rode this bike from the dealership to my home, it was like an hour ride, and it felt like hell. So after I put this thing over here, it make a huge difference. And to carry stuff, I purchased this macizo bag that goes on the tail section of the bike, and I like it because it just match with the silhouette of the bike. And I purchased this one that goes on the handlebar over here. Okay, it's the same brand as well. And those two bags together, they cost me like around less than $50, so they were really cheap in Amazon. Now, one thing that you guys gonna notice, if you pay close attention, is you're gonna see that I still got the original handlebar, but I did install, like a riser racer. So it's this, tubes over here. So there's no kit they sold for this bike. They sell these kits, for the bigger Harleys, that they use, like a standard, screws, and the spacers, they are larger, they are thicker, they got a bigger hole because the screw is thicker. But for this bike, I had to, do the measurements and everything and get the proper, size of spacers. So the spacers, they are 1 inch thick by 2 inch tall. And the hole is 3/8. Now the screw is metric. The screw is M10, which is 110 millimeters, long. It's a head, just like this screws over here. And I put, washer and a lock washer with Loctite. So I had to buy those long screws, and that way everything will work with this. And when it comes to the cables and everything, you don't have to change everything. You can leave all the cables, the sock length of the cables will work. The only thing that you have to do is like this clamp over here that holds, the brake line. The ear is on this side, so you have to remove it and flip it to the other side. And you have to, loose this nut over here. I think this is a 12 millimeter. And then, angle this thing down a little bit, and then tighten up the screw. Once you do that, you should be okay. You don't have to do anything else. Okay, so, and the final thing that I did was, the spun mount over here. So it's waterproof, as you can see here. And you can mount the phone. You can install inside, like one of those, backup batteries. So you can, charge your phone. And it's pretty easy to install and remove from the bike. So that's why I purchased this thing. And it's very steady. I'm very impressed with how well, this thing works. It's named Quick Locks. Okay. Now they sell different styles, but that's the one that I decided to use on the bike. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much, the mods that I did on the bike. I don't got plans to do anything else. But if you guys do, let me know. Give me some ideas so I can do the same on this bike. Okay? Take care, guys. Bye.